figure out how we can take 3 months of our lives to stop to do it, because basically the roughneck guerrilla filmmaking way that we want to make it, that we've been told we can do, is basically, a month of pre-production, a month of shooting, and a month of post-production. Like, we want to make it quick and dirty, but our calendar right now is not allowing us to kind of sit down and do that, and we need to do that because we want to, but we're just like, we're too excited to be making music again now, so that'll just have to wait. As for what the two posters mean, it's just hearkening back to a time when, and it's an innocent movie. It's not like this, like, oh, things were better. It's more like a love letter, like an innocent love letter, really, to an era where music and politics, and music and lifestyle really kind of felt more connected in some way. I didn't really think that John Lennon and Angela Davis were that different when I was young. I thought I had a very idealized, innocent view of artists. I thought artists did good things and wanted good things. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. So I thought all artists were, nice people. So for me, Lennon and Angela Davis on this person's wall harkens back to a time when politics and art were more connected, and to an innocent time when musicians and artists actually thought they could change the world, And I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking that. I think if you don't think that when you're 17, there's a problem, I'm teaching a lot now, and that's where I navigate. That's the one sort of precipice. That's the difficult part of teaching now, is that I am constantly struggling to communicate to people who are 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 years old and want to make them feel like art can change the world, even if it can't. It's like Santa Claus, I just don't want to let them in on it, You gotta feel that it can, and maybe it actually does, because maybe you change people one by one in some way. And I don't mean with some kind of on-the-nose message. I don't think art means teach them politics. It's not like some Bono speech or something. It's more like art making people feel like there's something else besides what's here right now, That's why religion is powerful. Religion and art are both powerful. Why? Because they question the status quo. Not because they tell you a specific thing. The church is powerful not because of what stupid Tea Party people are saying. It's powerful because it offers an alternative. It says, this isn't the only thing. And I think art says that too. Art says, look at this. Here's how I see this. This is an alternative. This is something else to consider. So that's why it's, political, and that's what those two people mean for me. I could talk more, but I feel like my answers are all very long tonight. I've been in a van all day, just listening to mixtapes and kind of generally going, so forgive me.
We're going to have time for questions from the audience. Before we do that, I just want to talk about post-Passing Strange work and the song cycles, Making It, and Brooklyn Omnibus, which just opened a few weeks ago in Brooklyn. Is the material that we're going to hear now, and not now, but this week, a part of those song cycles?
Yeah, you'll hear some stuff from those. You'll hear some stuff from those song cycles, and you'll hear some stuff from old Negro Problem, Stew records as well. It's kind of mixed up right now. It's a mixture.
So when you're performing here this week, you're going just from a set list. Is there specific themes that you're trying to pick up on?
No, just whatever songs we sound the best playing will probably be what. We did Omnibus for 4 nights, and we rehearsed really hard for it. And then by the time the run was finished, 4-night run, we had to get in a plane the next day and fly from New York to California. So we had no time to actually rehearse what we're doing on the road. So we ended up rehearsing it on the road, sort of in front of people like you. So we kind of know what we're doing now, and it's kind of loose and fun, and it changes every night. But yeah, the fact that we're here 4 times, which I think is a little much, but I hope, we can work it out. Things will change. Every show will be different,
Let's open up to the audience. for questions, and we don't.
Wow. I think it's the record thing, right?
Yeah, I think it's the record thing because there's all this talking. There's a story going on, and I think that's really beautiful, right? I mean, if you're hearing something all the time,
But did you hear what she said? The record thing. The thing about us, we're old enough where we used to listen to records where after a song there's like a silence, and then another song starts. And
yeah, but the silence I feel like is part of the record because you're hearing some words, and it was really, I felt like it was really powerful. You would really hear what was being said right then, and we put those spaces there for a reason. And I remember at one point, early on before we were doing it at the Public Theater after Berkeley, Stu came up with a Christmas song, right? And it was that scene where it's, we come back around and Stu's sitting there and he's looking at himself going, yeah, I'm staying here for Christmas and everybody's leaving and all that. And it was great because I thought it was such an uncomfortable moment for Stu to be watching, this narrator to watch himself as youth, fucking up, right? It's this uncomfortable moment. And it was interesting that he wrote music right there to make it all better for some reason, and it actually kind of ruined it. And the producers, of course the producers love the new music. They always do. Everybody loves music. And there's a new song, and everybody's like, oh my God, we love that song. And I was just going, oh my God, but it totally ruins this heavy moment. And,
so she cut the music.
And,
she did.
Well, I kind of just complained a lot.
But
it made it more uncomfortable, and it made it more emotional, and the silence made me hear what was
that's totally true, right? I mean, that's the thing about the that's a big silence, the Christmas stuff. And I think that's an important thing just to touch on. Sorry to digress, but the way we made the play, it wasn't like I showed up and said, hey, here's the play. Hi, I'm Neil Simon, do the play exactly like I wrote it. It's more like we could all just kind of go, I don't believe. Often the best things that happen in the play were when either Heidi or Annie, the director, would say, I'd turn something in and they'd go, we don't believe this. I don't believe it. I wrote a third-rate, really bad Arthur Miller style scene where the boy leaves. The boy tells the mom he's going away. And it was like, I've got to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. And it was this terrible scene. And the director said, this isn't you. This sounds like a play. This isn't you. And I got really pissed off because I worked really hard on that third-rate Arthur Miller scene. I'd worked very hard on it. I was trying to get my playwriting on. And she said, this isn't you. This isn't you. And I got so mad at her that I went back and I wrote a scene where the mother and the father are in an Antonioni movie, like in an art movie. And they leave each other in the context of a European art film. And I wrote it not because for any other reason that I was so pissed off at her for not liking my Arthur Miller that I wanted to write something that I knew would blow her away. But to me, that's how the play was made. It wasn't made like, oh, I've got this great inspiration. It was more like, we don't believe this. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to write something that's going to fuck you up now. You know what I mean? It was really like kids, trying to get back at each other kind of, in a really great kind of way, though, I mean. So she cut the song. It's a nice song. Maybe it'll show up on a record somewhere, but not in Passing Strange.
But that's what's great about, you get the right people to work with. Our director was constantly going, well, that's not you guys, know, and that's exactly what it's about, right? If we all have people around kind of going, you don't just want to do what somebody else is doing. You got to be, and I always say this, but when we hooked up with Annie Dorson, she was this person in theater that hated theater the way Stu and I hate most music, right? And we were all these bitter people that hate everything. And it just worked because we could all be really honest with each other and
that's true.
All that.
That's true.
Another question? What are you listening to on these mixtapes?
I should qualify that by saying I don't like a lot of contemporary music, and mainly that's mostly, I think, a little tongue-in-cheek to say hate. It's mostly there's so much old music that I'm still trying to figure out that I tend to revisit music or discover music by artists that I've kind of known about but maybe didn't know about this record or that record. So, my tapes are mostly old 60s and 70s and 50s. And I make tapes to kind of make people laugh, actually. I'll look at what song I put next to another song, and and kind of just like to mess with people's minds, sort of. It's just for fun. We're 5 musicians in a van, and it used to be where you made the mixtapes the night before you went on the road, and you had to stay up all night because you had to make these tapes. Now our van has Wi-Fi, so we're like literally going to iTunes and eMusic in real time and downloading stuff and making it's insane, right? I mean, and so some guy makes a tape of like 70s bubblegum music, so then like I go and I make like a 50s bubblegum tape or whatever, it's just, yeah, but a lot of stuff. I mean, I like to listen, I like everything. I like it all, a lot of different stuff. I'm making a killer David Bowie mixtape right now that has no hits at all. Just like the eighth cut on like Heroes, like who knows, Sons of the Silent Age, weird stuff like that, And also it's a way of, we're all basically still 12-year-olds that are kind of showing off. A mixtape is a way to show off. Look how cool I am. I wrote this band on my notebook, my folder, This band named Yoxie Music. I bet you don't know about this song, do you?
Everybody waits to see if anybody says, "Who is that?" Nobody has the nerve. They're waiting for somebody else to say it.